Grand Rising loves. I have to share this. This is literally the third time I am starting this video. So the first time my son is out there like literally passing gas right outside my door and like sounding like I just didn't want those sound effects on my video. The second one, I received a call from a beautiful soul sister and it cut the video off. I didn't know it would do that. And just a minute ago, it was upside down for some reason. So I'm back at it and I'm starting again. Deep breath. So the sacred geometry that showed up for today is infinity. And I like the challenge of the card infinity because the word infinite is used so much. I really believe that people think they know what it is. And it's just like love. Love is used so much. I think that people think they know what it is, and they really don't. It is so rare that someone actually knows what love is. And it is at the same note so rare for someone to know what infinite is. It's unknowable. It's the same with love. The true depth and reach of love is infinite. It is unknowable. Love is not romantic love, passionate love, physical love. It is something that transcends all of that. It is returning to source while in a human body. It is the frequency that we are in our truest form. And so infinite is unknowable, unmeasurable, unfathomable. You can never know. And so when infinity shows up in the spread, it's challenging you to say, do you even realize that you are the one that limits you? And so when you set desires and thoughts into motion and try to manifest that in material, you actually limit possibility. You limit your connection. You limit communication by not being in surrender and saying, I know that what is possible is unfathomable. Please give me what I deserve. May I experience all that I deserve. And so some of y'all are scared at that one. I felt that. I could feel that happening in the ether. Just saying that aloud, I could feel the recoil of that. Wow. This is what's so amazing doing work for the collective. I can feel that, and I could feel the effect of what I do, but also what I say. So when I share on this video, I don't think before I speak. I just allow it to come through me. And I can actually sit in the space of the Taurus, my heart, because I am so heart-centered, and feel the future of that happening. Wow. And that was really intense, actually, the feel of that one. So we gonna see what we gonna see. Anyhow, challenge yourself. How do I limit myself? What are the judgments that I have around what I deserve? So completion showed up, but it showed up in the reverse. Completion upright talks about a lesson being learned. So commend yourself and move on. You have done it. Now take a step up, evolve, and now let's accept these new experiences. with these new skills, these new tools. But completion showing up in the reverse, and also 9, the number on the card is the number of completion, by the way. And 53, of course, is an 8, infinite. And here is also 8. 8 is the number of abundance. So it's a cool spread today. I get all excited about those little nuances that show up in the spread. But anyhow, I'm getting distracted here. So completion showing up in the reverse says you did do it. You learned the lesson, you completed it, but you are still holding on to that old. You got to let it go. And you are allowing yourself to stay in expired experiences because you feel some kind of judgment around going. Okay? So it says, remember your infinite nature, that you are everything. And so the only one that you can be responsible for is you. And so whatever is showing up in your reality, you have to take responsibility for it. So if it is not aligned and not harmonious, you must leave. You must do what it takes to be responsible for that. And so this is such an interesting dynamic, because this conversation can go way deeper than just a card spread video, because I think a lot of people misunderstand this. And where I think the misunderstanding comes up is, I can do what the fuck I want, when I want, where I want. That's not being in your highest integrity. Being in your highest integrity says, this has shown up in my reality. I'm not happy in this situation. I'm gonna go. And I am freeing myself. But through this, I also free you. Right? Because you really can't speak for someone else. You can't say what they need or what they don't need, what they deserve or don't deserve, what they desire or don't desire. You cannot speak for anyone but yourself, even though we are everything. You are creating what shows up in your reality, but it is showing up because you have it within you. And so if you do not like what's showing up in your material, your reality, you need to write that within yourself by either leaving, speaking a truth, making changes within yourself, alterations. You have to do it. And so completion showing up in the reverse is saying that you are in a situation like that you're not fixing, that you're not being responsible for. And it's interesting because when people get into those situations, instead of freeing themselves, instead of liberation, they always choose captivity. Well, not always. That was a lie. But I'm witnessing this, and I feel like there's some really deep disconnect, especially in masculine energy. But there are women perpetuating this too. And for instance, I had a conversation about polyamory just recently, and I had to explain that it's not a spiritual concept to take multiple lovers. Polyamory is an ancient concept, yes, and it's been practiced since ancient times, but it is not spiritual. Do not get shit twisted. Divine spiritual sexuality is monogamous, because the only way that you can reach those depths of intimacy is one-on-one. Don't get that shit twisted. You can't dip into some energetic and then dip into another one and think that that's not polluting the energetic connection. That is a deep misconception, and I see a lot of it happening recently. So thinking that it's okay for you to go like, I'm miserable in this situation, let me go and dip into this and dip into this and dip into this and dip into this, and then I can go back renewed into this situation, is a farce. And it's expired. And this new paradigm will not allow for it. And you will find yourself suffering spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. And so Chrysocolla showed up again. You know what? I'm not mad. And I'm not feeling any kind of way about this. I understand it. It doesn't show up for me, though I am also guilty of this at times. I received a text from a beautiful friend, Stephanie, and she's like, it's me. I'm the reason this card is showing up. And I love her so much. It's everyone. But it's showing up for the collective because that's the greatest percentage. So the collective is everything. It's everyone. And so the cards that show up, this is the greatest percentage. So if this resonates with you, then you be that. But I have situations where I don't. And so I had a conversation with my soul sister. She was my twin in Atlantis. And we were talking about this last night. And she admitted that when her trauma is being triggered or deep emotion, she actually has to stop herself and spend at least 2 days processing and then confront her partner. And she's 70. And she's a very conscious woman. And a couple months back, I made a post about instant communication. And that's really when I made the realization that, actually more than a couple months, it was quite a while. But talking about if we do not honor ourselves and communicate immediately when we feel something, that we're actually not honoring the intuition of our partner. We're actually disregarding that they're intuitive at all. And so that's arrogant. But imagine what that feels like, okay? So you feel something very deeply, you recoil, and then you hold back. It'll feel like deceit to your intuitive partner. What is he or she lying about? And then they will be triggered into recoil. And we create a wedge for love in that. So don't hold shame. Release the shame around it, because the awareness is the win. The fact that you're even aware that you're holding back your truth and your love and your voice, that takes great awareness. There, believe me, is such a huge percentage that they're not even aware of that dynamic. So the awareness is the win. But I do this myself. I had a very profound experience Saturday night with a man that I deeply love and had not seen in such a long time. And he was writing something in my palm with his thumb that he was unable to say aloud. And it's gonna make me emotional. And I was too scared to say that I knew what he was doing. And so that was my trauma. So imagine the power of that if I would have said something in that moment. Or even his phone rang in the morning, and for a split second I went into trauma response, and I had to bring myself back so that I wouldn't. And like I said, I'm very aware of my ego when it shows up, and it's always with me. And so I know that he's not in a relationship with anyone else, but my ego created this whole scenario of betrayal. And it saddened me for a second, and then I had to bring myself back. But imagine the power had I admitted that to him also. That, in that moment I was so scared and vulnerable. So it's powerful. And I've given you so many scenarios of how to speak your truth, like even saying the good things, like, I'm happy to see you. And I love spending time with you, or I miss you, or that hurt, or wow, for a second I almost held you accountable for a trauma that wasn't even caused by you. I'm sorry. And that's how you take responsibility for what shows up for you. Now, Uluka Vahini, she who rides the owl brings justice. This is the goddess of karma. She corrects adharma. Adharma is that which is anything that goes against the natural frequency of love. Truth, because that is really the only truth. And so our purpose is to return to that unity consciousness of truth. Ultimate love. Ultimate love is absent of judgment, doubt, fear, trauma, holding people captive. It is absent of all of that. So being in your highest integrity always, speaking your truth, being heart-centered, pure intent. And pure intent means I am doing this because it's the responsible thing. I am speaking my needs. You're not meeting my needs. I am leaving. I'm freeing you and freeing me. This is no longer helping any of us evolve in this experience. So, the goddess of karma holds accountable anyone who is disrespecting that frequency. It writes everything. So, you don't have to worry about what will happen. So think about that, where you sit in the scheme of things and how clean your relations have been. How have you been in integrity or haven't been in integrity? Because all of those things are being made right now. It's the same thing I said in completion. All of those things are being corrected right now. And so if you're experiencing discord, you better check yourself. That's the point. And so against all odds and pressing against all urge to brace yourself or to hold back, push yourself through that discomfort and phenomenal things will happen. Phenomenal things will happen because that's all that's left. When you whittle away all of those things, love will always remain. It's the only thing that's real. And that's a spread. Incredible. I love you. I'm sorry. Your beauty showing. Please forgive me. Thank you.